You know what I realize? This is like the Truman Show, but I know about it. What's going on, interwebbers? Today's topic, the last trip I took to Japan. Now, like I was saying, the last couple of years I'd been fortunate enough to travel and tour, and I'd landed a gig teaching kids in Japan, and it was really like, damn it, I'm sorry, I keep kicking the camera. I'm not professional. Well, yes. So every time I have traveled these last couple of years, it's been like a goddamn movie, and something always goes wrong. So we'll just start at the beginning, my trip out on the plane to Japan. It's like a 10-hour trip to Japan from California, and I'd never had food poisoning at all. Until my first meal on the plane to Japan. I ended up getting food poisoning from there, and it was just absolutely terrible. You're already hunched up on that seat right as it is, and to be sick and having to throw up all the time, getting up and getting out, it was the worst experience in the world. So everything was just swimming, and it was bad. It was terrible. I'm already really afraid of flying as it is. And on the way there, I don't know what was going on, some superstorm, but at some points the plane would do like upside down stuff, up, right side. I figured we had gotten attacked by Godzilla and he was playing with us, but it was a really scary experience already with me being sick, so it was terrible coming in just on the plane ride there. It was just a whole adventure of its own. I had wanted to go to Japan all my life, so I had set my expectations pretty low. I was afraid I'd get there and it wouldn't be all I thought it cracked up to be. Japan is everything you think it's cracked up to be. The floors move, the machines feed you out of nowhere. It's really, really high tech. It's a lot of fun. My first experience right out of the airport, though, was with the bidet. Now, for those that you don't know, a bidet is those toilets that shoot water up your butt. And it's actually kind of a pleasant feeling. It's not bad at all. If you're expecting it, coming from a society that doesn't really have bidets or not too big on it, it's a huge surprise when the first thing you do after you're getting sick off of the plane is go to a toilet which talks to you and then proceeds to shoot water up your butt. It's a surprising feeling, but you do get used to it. So next on the list for me was figuring out the trains. Now, I'd got all my stuff, and my homestay, I was going to Yokohama at the time, told me how to get there from the train. Now, when you get there, the train station, the map looks like a freaking Ocean's 11 bank heist. There's red lines, green lines, white lines turning into brown lines. It's insane, and it's all in Japanese, so it's already extremely hard for me to figure out where to go at the time. I'm asking people, and the only thing I know is, "Toire wa doko desu ka?" So they're looking at me, just pointing back to the bidet where I was just at. But it was a lot of difficulty to get into, so trains, if you do plan to go to Japan, are something you're going to want to figure out early on. Some of them do talk to you and tell you how to do it in English, but for the most part, you're on your own, brother. So also, in Japan, the public transportation is a big deal. You do a lot of walking and taking trains, buses, what have you. You don't do a lot of driving. So that was something I had to get used to. On top of my sense of direction isn't the best already, and the house I was staying at was stuck in like the damn Twilight Zone. Every time I would leave and try to find it, I couldn't find my way back. I don't know what it was, but it was just every house looked the same, and it was just almost impossible for me to find it under an hour, walking like 10 minutes away. My job in Japan entailed teaching English to kids. Now, what the school I worked at did was they would hire us out almost as private tutors, and we'd go to school. So I did a lot of traveling, and I went around. I've met a lot of kids. Kids in Japan are a far cry different than kids in America. But it's a lot of fun. They have their own thing, though, which leads to one of my most awkward stories. And I got to the point where I started seeing the kids a lot, and I got really comfortable with them. Some kids got a little too comfortable with me. So there's a game that sons and dads play in Japan, and if you've watched anime, you've seen it, where they take their two fingers and they jam it up each other's butt. Japan's really into butts. It's a thing. I had naturally gotten a lot of rapport with the kids, and one kid did see me as a father figure, which I thoroughly enjoyed. As a dancer, I like to wear sweats as my comfort zone. I actually like to wear no pants, but since no society anywhere deems no pants acceptable, I have to wear sweats. Sweats offer literally zero protection to two fingers jamming up your butthole. So that kid really got up in there. And I mean really got up in there. Naturally, I was just as surprised as the bidet, if not more. So I just remember jumping up and yelling at the kid, "No, no, what are you doing? Stop it!" And everyone's just laughing at me. My translator at the time explained what was happening, and I just made little Kenji here cry. So I felt terrible. I ended up making him like some toys and stuff for the next week. But be very careful if you make a lot of friends with younger kids, because it could happen to you. So the more you know. My other awkward story is my night alone in a Japanese love hotel. Now, I had mentioned this before because it is a pretty embarrassing thing to happen. So after karaoke with one of our clients one night, I didn't know how to get home. Again, I get really lost easily, and I was just looking around. I was starting to get kind of good at hiragana, Japanese writing system, and I could read a little bit of things. So I read hotel, and I saw that it was really low in yen, so I went in. And I hadn't seen X-Men at a time with these themed rooms, so when I saw themed rooms and buttons just to push them and accept them, I was like, sweet! It's like a theme park for people to sleep in! I was super excited. After going through maybe 10 channels of porn, I finally picked up on where I actually was. I think what really set it off is there was outfits on the side that were all like cosplay related but sexified. So like there was Santa, sexy. There was a nurse, sexy. It was just all these sexy outfits, and I got an idea of what was happening. I may or may not have took one down to see if it would fit on me, because I was alone, and it's weird. I started getting into the culture. I may have tried one on. It fit really well, too. It was nice. It wasn't nice. Anyway, because of my actions, I ended up getting locked in the room. They have a sensor that senses when these costumes are taken off. So because I couldn't read on how to escape the room, I was just locked in this room on the 5th floor. I tried to jump over and maybe climb down the fire escape or rail, but I didn't get too far. I got scared. It took me a while to figure out what I needed to do to get out there. It took me, I think, a good 2 hours pressing every button and figuring out what to do. I did finally escape from my almost sad, lonely experience in a love hotel, but I can say I stayed at a Japanese love hotel now, so a win. Now, with all those being said, Japan is a super fun place to live. I had a lot of fun, minus all the crazy drama that happened. You know, everything's super technologically advanced. You can go to the movies and pick your own seat, pick the way you want to watch it, and the lights will light up and show you where you need to go. Everything is robotic. You can go to a ramen shop, pay a robot, and a robot will bring out your food. It's really, really fun. Anyway, that concludes the misadventures of Darkside in Japan. Now, like I said, I do travel a lot, so I have been to other countries which have just as crazy stories as my Japanese stories. So if you want to see those, make sure to stay tuned and check those out in the future. So with that, I will leave you guys with a proverb. Just remember, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 rights make a left. The more you know. How do I have people that watch this? I'm really afraid of flying. I'm afraid of flying. I'm afraid I can't fleek correctly. Stupid talking. Like, I don't know if I can consider myself a butt virgin because he got so far. I can't say that. That's terrible. You gotta write something different.